Wow, beautiful landscape we're in. Look at that. Believe it or not, it's piping hot. Blistering hot today. I feel like I'm leaking. In fact, I am leaking. There's a dog. Hello. Exhausted. So, go back to the car and I can tell you a little bit about what's been happening medical wise. I could mention ME or potential of ME in every single video. It affects me every day now in some way, mostly tiredness. Oh. So, as I'm catching my breath, I heard back from my doctor. He's been on holiday, his little fly. Yeah, he was on holiday, so he couldn't be bothered to call me prior to going on holiday. Come here, love, you got a fly on you. Come here, baby, come here. I don't want that fly on you, I don't know what it is. There we go. Look at this. Peace and quiet, eh? Who's that boy? Hey, are you much? Look at you. Are you Mr. Bird? Are you? I'll make more when I'm in the car because I'm breathless. Cheers. Hello. So we've pulled in the shade. How's that? Oh, this is my steering wheel in case you've wondered. God, I'm hot. Leaking. So I try and encapsulate this in a 5-minute video, okay? So bear with me, here we go. So I had a load of blood tests and other tests and what have you, and this went on for a little while, and this is again about the potential ME. If you watched my videos before, you will have heard me mention ME a number of times. As I said, I could mention it every single day. I could, because it affects my day-to-day life now, but it's still a potential ME. So these tests, they came back on my screen as abnormal, and the doctor needs to speak to you. I tried contacting the doctor and they said he's gone away, he's on his holidays. And I said, then I'd like to speak to somebody else. And they said, well, it's one doctor, one thing, really. I don't like that steering wheel being there. Hello. We're on a bit of a lean. So it's one doctor, one thing, really. And I said, well, that's no bloody good to me. You know, I've got panic disorder. That's one thing I've got, okay? So I need to know, I need not to panic, right? So I need some answers to something. So I said, can somebody contact me? Anyway, the woman said, well, you know, we'll do our best. I can't promise anything, which meant no. So I tried him again a couple of weeks later and they said he's still away, but he'll phone you first thing on Monday. So Monday came and went, didn't hear from me. So I put in a complaint and I said, I'm fed up of this, you know. Anyway, lo and behold, he did phone in the afternoon on the Tuesday, and he said the abnormal is the iron. Despite taking iron for 3 months, I have stopped that, but despite taking it for 3 months, didn't have much of an effect. He said it normally would. It has increased slightly, but only marginally. He says, so we'd like to put you on another 3 months. So I'm going to be taking them as from, I think it's tomorrow. It's Thursday as I make this, so who knows. Anyway, whatever. So I'm going to take them for 3 months, more bloods, and we'll see what we're facing there. But in between times, I was thinking of other things. And I can remember in 2021 or 2, anyway, I can remember my cardiologist stopping a medication that I was on called Ramipril. The Ramipril was because I had high blood pressure. I had my blood pressure was sky high because of this panic disorder, and any time I went for anything to do with medical stuff, it shot through the roof, and it was better at home than it was there. Anyway, he didn't stop it for that reason, because it was better at home. He just stopped it, and I don't really know why. He probably told me, but it's a couple of years have gone on. I have heart disease, so whether I'm on tablets for that, so whether the medication for the heart and for the blood pressure isn't suitable, I don't know. I can't remember, and I just don't know. But I mentioned that to the doctor, and he said, well, from what you're on, heart medication, he said there shouldn't be a problem taking Ramipril for the blood pressure. He said, so what I'll do is write to him. It makes me laugh. They have to write, don't they? They can never phone. Anyway, he said, I'll write to him and we'll see what we can come up with. And if Ramipril is no good for you, for some reason, then we'll give you an alternative. He said, because your blood pressure is high. I've got a blood pressure machine at home, and I keep a record every day. Well, every day when they want me to. They say, can we have a fortnight? So I say, well, it'll have to start now because I haven't bothered, and stuff like that, you know. But I've been feeling out of sorts and not well in a way, so I have been keeping a record of my blood pressure, and I do know that it is high, sometimes astronomically high, and that's no good for you. So, which is why I thought I'd mention it. So he said we'll try then with the Ramipril or an alternative, and we'll try with the iron. So give yourself another 3 months and we'll see how you're doing. And I said, how long is this going to go on for? It's been over a year, you know. And he said, these things always take a time, you know. And I said, even if I'm diagnosed with ME, right, it's called myalgic encephalitis, or the better known version of it, I suppose, is chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS. I can't even fucking say it. Chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS. So CFS is you know how I'll refer to it, I think, if I can remember that, CFS. It's better for people to understand, because if you say chronic fatigue, well, chronic is chronic. We know what that means. We know what fatigue is. It doesn't matter about the syndrome part of it. But anyway, he said, how are things in general? And I said, not good. They're really not good. And particularly right now. I said, I'm breathless. I can't do anything much. I really can't. I can't even hoover, right? I can't hoover my bungalow. And I have to do it over 2 or even 3 days. And if I want to hoover and mop, no way. It'd take me a week, at least a week to do it. I'm absolutely exhausted, and exhausted all the time, but worse than exhausted. I can't even explain how ill I feel when I get tired. It's a strange thing. How can being tired feel like being ill? I don't know. It can, and it does. I said I don't have a typical day, but just lately, the last 3 days, I can tell you exactly what's happened, really. I've gone to bed at night, about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, absolutely exhausted, and I sleep for a couple of hours, and I'm awake for a couple of hours. I sleep for a few more hours. I get disturbed sleep on and off, and sometimes I have a good night, sometimes I have a bad night. It's immaterial. That part of it doesn't matter at all, because they're all the same when I get up in the morning. When I get up in the morning, I don't feel refreshed, ever, despite however long I've been in bed, or however long I've been asleep. I have myself a Slurpee, I take my meds and what have you, and I sit there and I tend to fall asleep. Or if not, then my eyes are shut, my head's going, and I think, oh Christ, you know. And I think, bloody hell, I'm going to have to go back to bed. This is about an hour I've been awake for. And I think, well, I'm going to have to go to bed. I don't keep on wanting to go to bed, because that might disturb the night sleep and what have you. But when I try to go past that, the hour or so, I feel ill. I feel dizzy. I feel a bit faint, a bit unsteady on my legs. My balance isn't great. I have noticed that a lot when I'm really tired. I say really tired. I mean, I'm not tired. Well, how can you be tired? It's this CFS. That's what it is, you know. I feel, a lot of the time, a little bit sick. Just a bit gacky, you know. And I feel so exhaustedly tired that I think if I don't lay down in a minute, I'm going to drop. I'm literally just going to fall on the floor. Anyway, I go to bed within about an hour or so, and one thing I notice, two things I notice. Number one, I'm hot nearly all the time, but when I get into bed, I notice that my heart rate has risen quite a lot. And that's like the exercise, moving from one room to another. Exercise, right? The 10 steps. And clambering into bed or onto bed or whatever. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I've had a guts full of it. I'm frustrated. I really am frustrated because I can't do things. I started to get back into my art, and I've got so many designs in my head that I'd like to produce. They take so long. I need to dedicate a number of hours per day for 3 or 4 or 5 days on each piece of art. I haven't got 3 or 4 hours because I'm so tired, so fatigued. I need to go to bed, you know. I want to go out on a bimble when the weather's nice like this, and I can't bimble. Can't bimble very far anyway. And whatever I do, I'm breathless, I'm hot, I'm tired, and I want to go to bed. I want to drink and I want to go to bed. You know, it's what is it, 10 o'clock now. We've been out just under an hour, and I've had a guts full. I am exhausted, and I want to go home and I want to go to bed. Just for a few hours. That's what I need to do. And if I don't go to bed soon, you know, I'm going to start feeling dizzy again. I will feel faint, breathless. My pulse will raise. I will feel sick in my stomach, and I just feel like I'm going to keel over. I need to go home. I need to go to sleep. So I said to him, that is how the past 3 days have been, you know. And, you know, and it goes on all day like that, you know, that hour or so in the morning. I can get up at about maybe 11 or 12 and have another hour or 2 or even 3 awake. But yeah, I've got to go to bed by maybe 4 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock for a couple of hours. And then I get up maybe at 6 or 7 and I go to bed at 9 or 10. It's not much of a life, is it, really, you know, when you think about it. I mean, of course it is, and I love my life, and I love living life. You know, I think life has got a lot to offer, and I've got a lot to offer to life, you know, when I've got a bit more energy, but I can't find that energy from somewhere. It's like I can't get a breath in me, you know, like a breath of energy. I just can't breathe it in. So I'm in a bit of a mess, really, I think, and I don't feel well because of all this. You know, I do feel, you know, right now I feel a bit sick. My heart rate has risen only because I'm hot and I've been on a bit of a bimble. That's the other thing. If I do too much, right, if I hoover up the whole bungalow, like the whole 5 or 6 rooms, you know, or if I do this or do that, or we bimble too much or whatever, I'm absolutely shot away the next day or two. It has such an impact. So I need to limit what I do on each day. He did say, if, you know, the diagnosis is ME, he said they will teach me how to manage time and what have you. Well, that's nice, thank you very much. Although there's not a lot they can do other than that, really. He said, but to think about what you're doing when you're doing it at any one given time, because he said what happens is, you know, you might wake up and you might make yourself a drink, but while you're there you tidy the kitchen, you know, or you do a bit of washing up or whatever, and then you go into whatever room, and you know, move the cushions around and you tidy up and you stroke your dog, and you know, you do this and then you do that, and then next thing you've had a shower, and he said before too long, he said you've done far too much. He said, so you need to start thinking about these things, you know. So just before you go to bed at night at 9 o'clock, do the washing up then, for instance. Don't leave any washing up for the morning, you know, and give the kitchen just a quick tidy, just a flick over. Oh, I don't know. I get brain fog and I can't be fucking bothered. really, that's the honest truth. I cannot be bothered to think it all through, to worry about it and all the rest of it. Oh, the other thing was, talking about worrying, I was supposed to have a meeting with a surgeon on the Wednesday of this week as I'm making this, about this bloody great hernia, and they put me in touch with the wrong surgeon. He doesn't do incisional hernias, he only does, well, I don't know what he fucking does, but anyway, so that's another waiting game, but that's fine. But I'm in a place now, maybe this is good, but I can't be bothered to worry about it. You know, somebody said the other day, you seem very calm about that. And I said, well, I can't be fucking bothered. I really cannot be bothered to worry about it. Now, whether I worry too much about the cancer, so whatever they throw at me now, I can't be bothered to worry about it anymore. Or whether that's the ME, or potential ME, I keep calling it potential. Whatever this is, if it's not ME, then what is it? Okay, I really need now to stop filming, to go home, and I need to go to sleep because I'm exhausted again. But, you know, things will be okay, and, you know, I get a diagnosis either way, and they can either manage something with meds, or if it is ME, then, yeah, we'll manage time and we'll think about things, and, you know, I'll do my best to carry on my life as much as I can. But how it is right now, and I don't mean to say but, you know, how it is right now, it's got worse, and I know it's got worse, and I can feel it's got worse, and I ache. My muscles ache inside, they really ache. My back, my legs, and I just need to go and lay down. So that is what I will do. But anyway, not to worry, you know, life could always be worse, couldn't it? I've had worse, you know. So we will see how all this pans out, and we will hope for the best. We've always got hope, regardless of whatever goes on. There's always hope, you know, and things tend not to last for all of us, you know. So, of course, my saying, this too shall pass, and it will, you know, whether it's going to be 6 months or a year or 10 years, it will pass. Let's hope it's not 10 years, although I've heard a couple of horror stories. But we are off home now. Thank you for listening. It's just a bit of a ranty thing, but I am frustrated and I'm annoyed, and I wish it would piss off whatever this is. But we love you, and we love living life. And don't forget, life is good, and good gets better, and it really does. You know, if you look for the good, then you see more good. Take care and be well.